Hello and good morning, good evening. Welcome back. Welcome to Cloud and DevOps Batch 58. Before I start the session, I just want to give a quick recap on what's been covered in the previous session. As a part of the golden rules that we want to implement, we are targeting to build the dashboards. So we learned Prometheus is just a data collector, and using Grafana, we are going to visualize the data collected with a Prometheus. So Grafana is going to get the metrics from Prometheus or whatever the source it may be. In our case, we are using Grafana. We are using Prometheus as a data source, and Grafana is going to fetch it. Okay. So with the default node exporter metrics dashboard, I also told you if you get a lot of ready-made dashboards. For example, I want CPU, memory, okay, how much is available, all these things from Grafana. I just shown you how can we directly ready-madely use the existing dashboards. Okay, so what it has offered. So let's try to see that. So I just started Grafana as well, and Grafana works on 3000. Okay, so let me bookmark it. So admin password. All right, go to the dashboards. Node exporter metrics. This is something that came out of the box. I'm gonna come here and just say last 5 minutes only. So if you come here and if you see this, okay, you don't see much data because the information is not add up. So what I'm gonna do is I'll just come here and see whether the service is up or not. So I also wanna come here and see the dashboards. Discard, okay, and expense app which we have built. It tells you that my front end is up and it is up just from last. If you put last 15 minutes, it shows you it's been up from at what time. Okay, and what is the CPU utilization? But we don't know what is the memory utilization. Okay, we don't know what is the memory utilization. So I also want to create a graph for it. Okay, so let's try to start from there. So first, in order to deal Prometheus, uh, you need to know the query first. Let's go and try to talk to Prometheus. Okay, the formula remains the same, guys. So if you want to know the utilization, for example, 100% of CPU, that means how much is utilized versus how much is left. Okay, how much is utilized versus how much of left is equal to 100%. If you want to know how much is utilized, 100% minus idle. So that's gonna give you the 1%. Okay, so similarly, I want to get the metrics for node memory. Mm, Do you have anything related to memory? Node memory. Okay, node memory. Mm, Memory total bytes. Okay, so I want to know what is the information of the total bytes. You are getting the information, but this information is coming in the bytes. But I don't want total. Okay, so I want to know how much is utilized. So if you want to know the utilization, the formula is very simple. Okay, 100 minus, okay. So total, which is nothing but the 100%, total minus how much is available. So let's target that. So minus node memory, how much is total minus how much is available, uh, mem available bytes. Now you can see this much is available. Okay, now if you guys try to put it 1024, it gives you in bytes. And if you put 1024, okay, bytes to KB, KB to MB, MB to GB. Okay, but this is not right. I'm interested about the percentage. Okay, not really the utilization. I'm interested about the percentage because you have a number of CPUs. Okay, but I'm only interested about, okay, how much is utilized in percentage. Okay, if you want to know the percentage, what we do, okay, so percentage mathematics is very simple, right? If you want some percentage, what is the typical percentage that we do? Okay, total minus available, regular mathematics only. Okay, divided by total. That gives you the utilization percentage, right? Total minus available is equal to utilization, and that too by total. That gives you how much is utilized percentage. Okay. So let me try to show you that node memory total, this one, by again node memory underscore mem total bytes. Okay, but you need to enclose them in quotes because this is a one expression and this is one expression. Okay, now you are getting the result. Now it is telling 0.92. 0.92. Now, if you want things in the percentage, okay, you need to go with 100. 100 gives you the percentage. Can you see this? Now you're getting the value in 92%. But this one is gives me 92.0236. It sounds bad. I don't want. Okay, if you want a value that is nearest to the integer, you can use functions like ceil and floor. Ceil, upper limit, ceil function, Prometheus. Okay, this is again the regular mathematics that we learned. Okay, if you take a fifth or sixth standard mathematics, so ceil gives you the ceil of 1.49 is equal to 20. It gives you the nearest integer. Okay, I would like to go with the ceil of this. Okay, now you got the information about CPU utilization. Okay, memory utilization. So I'll come here and I'll try to add it. So I'd like to add a visualization. Come here and put your code. Now run the query. Now you'll get the CPU memory utilization of it. And you can also get what is the CPU utilization, memory utilization of these as well. Okay. So yeah, this is memory, by the way. You can also go through this. If you're interested about the graph, you can also go through the graph. Anything is fine. Okay. Now you can also go through the graph. Okay. Or just go with the gaze. Anything is fine. And again, we are using 2 CPUs and 1 gig of memory. That's the reason it is clocking more. But I don't want this much information should be available here. Instead, I just want to tell what is the node. So here, what are the available custom label name, instance underscore name. Now run the query. Perfect. This is what I want. Okay, we are using 2 CPUs and 1 gig of memory. That's the reason it is showing this. Okay, 98%, which is really high. Maybe we can think through what best can be done around this. All right. Now this is system availability. Now here I would like to say memory utilization percentage. Perfect. Now likewise, I also want to see what is the CPU utilization for it as well. CPU utilization also goes through the same way. Okay, but let me try to show you a few more things. So this expression we got it. So I want to see node CPU seconds total. Okay. So what is okay? All right. It is giving me a lot of options. Among all, I'm interested about the CPU that is idle so that I can get the utilization. I'm interested of mode is equal to idle. I'm just selecting. Okay. Now you only get the information about this. Now I want an average. Okay. I want to know the average. What I can do, I can come here, AVG average by instance ID. So average by instance name. All right. So that I don't have to. Okay. So this is another expression, right? So what you need to do is you need to enclose them in one more code. Perfect. Now you are getting the CPU, but this is not really utilization. It is how much is idle. So if you are interested about okay, what is the last 1 minute, all you need to do is just this one, because so that this gives you the result in the last 1 minute. Okay, now this is not true. At this point of time, this is fine. Uh, now I want to know the rate of, if you want to enclose them in the rate, okay, you need to put the time. Okay, rate of speech. Okay, no, something is missing. Let's go step by step. Now you're getting these details. Now I don't want this thing go through this way. Instead, I want to go through average by AVG by. Okay, average by instance name. So we can have to go through this way. Now I want to go by rate. So if I want to go by rate, again, it has to go by parenthesis. Okay, if it has to go by rate, you also need to enclose them. 1 minute. Okay, perfect. Now you are getting the rate. Okay, you are giving the value of the utilization, total seconds in last 1 minute. Done. Now, mm, perfect. Now I want, this is how much is utilized, how much is used, how much is idle, how much is idle. So it says 99% is idle. If 99% is idle, if you want to know how much is utilized, 100 minus idle, which is going to be 100 minus idle. So what it is going to do, it tells you which is utilized. So I would like to make 100 minus of. Now this tells you how much is utilized. Okay. So this much of percentage is utilized, is available. 99% is available. All right. So instance name, idle minus 100. How much is available? 99% is available. Okay, so maybe if you remove this, okay, it tells you how much is available, but I am interested about 100 minus. Okay, done. Perfect. Now I just want to make this value in 100%. So what you can do is you can come here. Percentage. Perfect. How much is utilized? Very less percentage utilized. Now I want to give the seal of it. Okay, so that you get the upper limit. So this much percentage is utilized. Okay, maybe CPU utilization. It's very less utilization because it has two CPUs, by the way. All right. Duplicate. Run the query. Okay, this is the CPU utilization. So you have the information about CPU utilization, memory utilization, system availability. Okay. So as a part of the saturation, what best we can do, we have it. Okay. We cannot say, okay, I don't have this information. So with the open source things, we built what is the memory utilization percentage, what is the CPU utilization percentage. Now you can think why it is this much, because it's one CPU, one gig of memory, by the way. Okay. All right. And it's not memory utilization, by the way, it is CPU, right? All right. So come here. Okay, all right. So CPU utilization percentage, memory utilization percentage. So what is the availability of it, and what is the CPU utilization? Okay, graphs also we have presented, and what is the availability of the system is also something we have presented. So with respect to the saturation, we have good metrics. Okay, but what's next? What's next? So I want to know the information. Saturation, we are good. Okay, we got it. Next, how many errors we are getting? Typically, errors are like, okay, how many? 300, 400, 500. Yesterday we seen 300 errors are redirectional errors. 400 errors are either the client is accessing in-access client or the client that you're accessing, the web page is down. Or 500 means system is up, but something is fishy that is making the application not to function. Okay, I want to get this information as well. So far, are we clear? I want to take a pause. I also want, okay, here are the metrics I'm interested about. Okay, from Nginx, what else am I expecting? Okay, I am expecting what is the processing time of the request. Okay, that means what is the time that is taken by the front end in our application? Whatever the request that comes up that hits the front end, and from the front end they go back. That means what is the processing time of the request? That is a very important information I want. How many 200, 300, 400? Oh, it's not 200. Do we have? Is a very important piece of information that we want. And what is the traffic? Okay, how many people are adding their expenses on the application? If you take a look at our application, okay, in our application, if you take a sneak peek of our expense application, okay, in this application, the front end component, which is a publicly exposable component, is the one centric information where you can get most of the information from. So by targeting this front end, you can get to know what is the processing time taken by the request to process. How many 100 error, 100, 300, 400, 500 errors are there? What is the latency of the request? Everything you can capture it in the front end. Okay, so let's target this. So as I told you from the beginning, based on the type of exporter, we get the information. Okay, in Prometheus, information offered by the exporter is based on the type of exporter you're using. Okay, if you use node exporter, node based Bednix. If you use graphite exporter, okay, time series DB based metrics. And if you use, okay, something, you get something. If you use MySQL exporter, metrics related to DB activity. So in our case, what is the web server that we are running on our front end? Anyone? Anyone? Nginx. Anyone? 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 So let's go. Since we are using Nginx, let's see, are there any Nginx related out of the box dashboards or not? Uh, am I audible? Can someone confirm me?
Yes, Manoj.
All right. Am I making sense, by the way? Are we good? Am I, whatever I'm saying, does it make sense? Harish, Mahindra, Mrudula, Rachit, Shrideep, Sumit, Girisha, Arun.
Yes, Manoj.
Anyone? Mahendra, Mrudula,
Yes, yes, yes.
Rachit. All right. So, since the front end of my component is Nginx, if I search for any dashboards that are offered by Grafana, let's see again. You get you will not get most of what you're expecting, but let's see what they're offering. Uh, there is a dashboard for Nginx, but what are they saying? Easily monitor your Nginx and open source software for web serving, reverse proxying. Okay, but if you want, it is what all it's offering. It's offering general metrics, CPU usage, CPU utilization percentage. Wow, CPU current memory utilization perfect of your front end. Okay, not everything, and network throughput perfect. And it's also offering what is the status of Nginx and how many 200 errors are there, how many 400 errors are there. It's perfect. This is almost you are getting everything. How many 300 errors, how many 500 errors. Okay, Nginx connections accepted. How many 400 data. Okay, I think you get most of it. When you also see how what is the memory used. Okay, you get most of it. But what are the dependencies? Change the permission of the log file. You need to change the permission of the log file, var log nginx access log. Usually access log file can be found. I already told you. You can also find the path. Okay, you need to give the read permission. And this is the nginx configuration to use. Okay. Following metrics monitor through the dashboard. Okay, fine. And for this, do I need to use any exporter? Grafana dashboard for Nginx web server. But for that, do I need to install anything? First, let's see whether with this, do we really get any information needed or not? Okay, let's give it a try. So data source. How to get that? Now what I can do is add import from the library. Not even import from the library. How to copy that? I don't know. But where can I copy that? Import dashboard. ID. Load this Nginx. I don't know whether it gives me the information or not. Choosing the data, but just try. Let me try. Okay. Yeah, as expected, you are getting the dashboard. In order to use the dashboard, you need to use some exporter. Okay, so this is giving you out of the box dashboarding, but for this information that can only be offered by Prometheus. Okay, Prometheus will only be offered this kind of metrics related to Nginx if you are using that kind of exporter. So in this particular node, you need to install a separate exporter called as, I think, Nginx exporter. Once you use the Nginx exporter on the top of it, then it will start offering the metrics that can fill up this dashboard. Okay. I don't know what exporter is needed for it. Dependencies. So in order to do this, Are there any exporters for Nginx? Again, one more thing, I want to make it clear. Whatever the metrics that you see here are not just the one that are offered on by Prometheus. These are the metrics that are offered on the top of Prometheus page, but a lot of tools to support Prometheus, they are offering their own exporters. Okay, so so Nginx exporter. Let's see. I don't know. Let's see their official page. Nginx Prometheus Exporter fetches the metrics from a single Nginx or Nginx Plus. Nginx is an open source edition. Nginx Plus is a premium edition. Converts the metrics into appropriate Prometheus queries. Okay, perfect. Let's see. For this, running the exporter. Okay, so if you are using binary on the top of the server, this is how you need to mention. Okay, where your Nginx is running. Mm, For Nginx Plus, this is the one. Again, I'm not using Nginx Plus. Mm, What all metrics it's offering? So metrics for Nginx OSS. So common metrics, gaze. Okay, I told you gaze. In value that can go up and down, counter the value that keeps on go. And if it is open source, Nginx uptime status is the only thing that is coming up. Mhm. Mhm. I'm not sure whether it offers the metrics or not. Mm, Just reading. Mhm. Mm. Let's see. Let's give it a try. Okay. My gut feel is it can do something better. Okay. So let's see. Okay. So what all versions it has right now, it is offering 130. Select this. Download this one. We are using AMD TAR. Okay. And we need to download this and we need to install it. Let's give it a try on the top of front end. Okay. First, let's do manually and see how it works. What happened to the node? Oh, it's not up. What happened? What happened to front end? Come on. Who stopped it, by the way? I didn't stop it. Let's let this get started. That's right. Let me try. Perfect. Okay. What I would like to do is I would like to download this. Okay, this is R&D by the way. I never used this, but this sounds promising because I'm getting most of it. So why should I leave it? However, it's free. Okay. Okay. So dot slash Nginx exporter. Okay, perfect. It is started. This exporter is started on 9113. So what I'm gonna do is duplicate the tab, duplicate the window. I just want to see what metrics is it offering. SSH, this. So curl localhost 9113. Okay, perfect. It is accessible. Now, is it really offering metrics? Wonderful. Perfect. This is what I want. Okay. But if you look at this, okay, you see the lot of metrics that it is offering. So what I'm gonna do is Nginx up. Okay, you are getting a lot of metrics. Okay. I also want a sudo netstat -tlpn. And you also need to understand, okay, it is working on 9113. Okay. So you need to understand one more point. So we are going to install Nginx exporter on the top of this node. Okay. That also means, okay, okay, 9113 will also be running. So we also need to open 9113 only on the front end to Prometheus so that Prometheus can talk. Okay, that is also something. So all these days we are iterating the common. So here we have a 9100 port for all of them and only 9113 port to be exposed. So how are we going to handle this situation is another important thing. Okay. All right. But yeah, but this is not the way to start. Okay. Documentation is not saying that. So how it is saying. So they're saying to export the metrics. To start, that is the one to expose the metrics. Yuri, in our case, uh, localhost. Localhost. Okay, our application is working on 8880. Even if you don't keep, that's fine. We need to say dot slash. Is it disabled? Okay, perfect. This is for to know the status. Curl Okay, perfect. So what I'm gonna do is instead of this, I'll say Nginx. Okay, this is how we can start. Okay. Mm. So let's take this command to start. Nginx exporter. And where are we downloading? This is also something we should be having it. Okay, let's keep all the information handy so that we can place it as a part of the automation. All right. Again, it's going to be very easy. You need to go to the Prometheus because we just need to add the node exporter exclusively for the front end, not okay. So for that, okay, that's fine. So let's go to the roles inside Prometheus, inside the task. Okay, inside the task, this is the entire task. Node exporter dot service. So let's go here, say the task. Okay, not exporter.yaml. So first you need to download. Hmm, download and extract. Downloading Nginx exporter. Done. And what is the package name? That's it. And I want this to be done on the OPET server. Remote source owner is equal to app user. And this is also something app user, which is nothing but the Prometheus. Okay, fine. Hmm. So this is the role. Hmm. Okay, why am I doing this here? It's supposed to go here, right? Node hyphen exporter. Yeah, I'm sorry. We need to do it here. Nginx hyphen exporter dot YAML. Done. Okay. Uh, and this should only go for Nginx, which is nothing but for front. Okay. So if you go to this inside the common task main.yaml, I'll be loading the same thing. Okay. Configuring Nginx exporter. And the role of the role is Nginx exporter. That's all. Done. Now this way it is going to call the role. Okay, this is only needed for front end. Again, keep in mind these two are common for everyone. Okay, these two tasks are common for everyone, but this configuring the Nginx exporter, okay, should only run for front end. All right. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to conditionalize it. Okay. What I want to do is inside the vars, there is no vars. So let me create a vars. So here I'll say Nginx exporter as false. Okay, just for the heck of it. Uh, Here I'm gonna say when Nginx exporter. So when this value is true, then only it will be triggered. Okay. Uh, every one other component will be calling this. So for them, the default value is this. But for the front end, I'm gonna override it. Okay. So whenever front end calls it, I'm gonna invoke it as this. So that only for the front end guy it will be triggered. For rest of the components, it's not going to trigger. Okay. And that's it. Let's see. Downloading is completed. Inside Prometheus, download is completed, and inside the common task main.yaml. Okay, fine. Mhm. Okay. So let me see how booleans work. Okay, boolean in Terraform in Ansible. True. One statement. When enabled. Mhm. Mhm, mhm, mhm. Mhm. Or okay, and one more thing. So here in the front end, we have created a meta saying that the dependency is common. I think here also I can supply, right? Vars Nginx exporter. I think from here also I can supply, right? That's it. So it's going to call the role and it's going to supply Nginx exporter is equal to true, which is going to work. That's it. Now this particular thing will only be triggered for the front end. Okay, not for others. So let's give it a try. Okay. CD to okay, so let's try. Okay, it's just a download. Okay, so I'm just curious to know whether it's going. But yeah, again, if it has to go through, it has to go through all of it. It's gonna take time. So what I'm gonna do is I'll just try to invoke it manually. Okay, because if it, for front end, if it has to go through, it has to go through all the way to Terraform. So at this point of time, during class, it's gonna waste my time. So I'd be refrain doing it. Since it is testing. Okay. Tool name, it's going to be Prometheus. Okay. Password is equal to DevOps 321. Role, tool name is equal to role. Okay, and the role is front end. Okay, fine. Setup tool starting by ML. All right. But you should also sending a vault token as well because it needs to go and talk, right? Uh, okay, hyphen env vault dot token. Okay, fine. Hyphen vault dot token is equal to, so vault token, I think we have it, right? I just saved it. In your case, you are going to use your own token, okay, for authentication. This is just to make sure I don't waste time in doing the test. Okay, so vault token is equal to this. That's it. Come here, exit, cd to Ansible, get pull. That's all. Now this should also, okay, setup hyphen tools.yaml doesn't exist. Why? Where this went? Cat. Hmm. Component is undefined. Okay. Yes, obviously it's not just front end, it's going to be front end hyphen dev. Yeah, obviously again the name is incorrect. It's a front end 1D. Okay, now this time okay, INV. Okay, fine. Okay, perfect. I'll just keep it handy. Now, okay, this should trigger. Okay, this should trigger node exporter that we have made. Not node exporter, Nginx exporter, but for rest of them, it should not trigger. That's the idea. Nginx exporter. Perfect. Creating Prometheus downloading. No, 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 no. Okay, perfect. It's coming up, guys. Okay, perfect. It is working. But if you try to run the same for MySQL, okay, it is not going to agree. Let's see. Okay, now, though we made a common by making it as a false by default and overriding whomever it wants, you are getting the result. Okay, and this time it's going to make the, okay, it's going to make the Nginx export. It's going to make the node exporter, but it's not going to make the engineer node exporter. So where is the node export? If you see this, node exporter is configured, and along with the Nginx exporter is also configured, right? Not configured, downloaded. But if you try to make it, no, this time it should not trigger the Nginx exporter. That is a goal. Small tuning, okay. Okay, if you see this, uh, creating Prometheus, okay, restarting the node exporter, but can you see this? It got skipped. Okay, it got skipped. This is what I want. Okay, perfect. It is working as expected. Okay, now I can proceed with the next. Any questions, anyone? This is a small tuning because I don't want Nginx exporter to be installed on nodes that doesn't have exporter, which is totally waste of time for me, which I don't entertain. Okay, yeah, perfect. This is what I want. ls-ltr off OPT. You can also see the Nginx exporter downloaded. Okay, it's running with the user from Prometheus. Okay, perfect. Mm. Okay. Now what else needed is now I want the service should be started with like this. Okay. Copy the nginx-exporter.service because it doesn't offer systemd as it's not coming through RPM. Okay. Okay. Done. And the user, I just want to let it go through Prometheus working directory. I don't mind. XX start. Okay. Okay. And how do you start it? What is the command that we are using to start? Let's go with health. Okay, by the way. Nginx-exporter dot service, not exporter, Nginx exporter. Not exporter done. I'm interested about Nginx exporter, which comes from the front end here. Done. OPT Nginx node exporter. Nginx scrape is equal to URL HTTP localhost. Let's put it as health, okay? Health is endpoint, by the way. Okay, if you want to see, exit from here. Mm, done. Okay, so I'll just give it as a health and identify this Prometheus multi-user target is equal to this. Perfect. So just like node exporter, I just want to copy this and restart this as well. Come here. Okay, copying the systemd file. Okay, and it's going to be Nginx exporter, access systemd system, Nginx hyphen exporter dot service, and restarting Nginx exporter. That's all. Restarted, enabled is equal to S, enabled is equal to S. Perfect. Let's try to pump the code and let's try to run it one more time. Oh, I'm sorry. You need to do a git pull. Let's wait. I'm expecting some magic is going to happen with Nginx metrics, which you all love. If you look at this, okay, so downloading and extracting the package of Prometheus, restarting the node exporter, configuring the Nginx exporter, downloading the Nginx exporter, copying the systemd file. Okay, restarting the Nginx exporter, perfect. It is also working fine. Let's wait. It's not accessible. So you need to enable the security group from internet. Um, but yeah, I know it's working. Okay, because I know it is working because if you try to make a curl, localhost 9113, which is Node X, an Nginx exporter. And if you look at this, it is offering the metrics. But this should also be accessible by your Prometheus. So if you exit from here, SSH to Prometheus, okay, when it tries to make a curl 9113 metrics, it should get the metrics. Okay, that means Prometheus should be able to talk to front end on 9113 and it should get it. That means you should enable Prometheus. That means you should open the 9113 port to the Prometheus. For now, I'll try to do manually to show whether it's really working or not. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the front end again. We'll put this effort of doing this again. This 9113 port should only be opened for front end because Nginx exporter is running here, unlike others. Okay, to demonstrate what I'm gonna do is inbound. Just for the heck of it. And now the rule is added. Can you see this? Now Prometheus is able to talk. While others, if my other node, my workstation, if it tries to make a curl, it cannot. Okay. This is also something we need to put it in Terraform. That means if you look at our code, okay, if you look at our code, TF module Terraform, inside of the security group, through the variables, we are iterating it, right? Okay. So we are writing this multiple times, but rather what we can do is, because if I come here and if I try to say, okay, if I come to LOs, Nginx exporter, okay, on 9113, okay, this is going to be very bad. Okay, because this is going to open the port for all of them because we are using a loop. So here we need to handle it in a very strategic way. Any questions? Guys, are we clear? Solving the problem is always the second deal, but the first deal is understanding the problem. Okay. So what I want to do, okay, there is an option in security groups where we can add a rule, create a rule and add it to a security group. So let me show you that. AWS security group. Mm. So you can create a rule. and add it to the security group. Now I'll make it only applicable for the front end, but not for the others using the count action. Okay. So let me copy this. Okay. Let me copy this. This rule is only specific to okay. And the -hyphen exporter is going to be from port to 9 port. CADR block, I'm very clear. It is a var dot Prometheus node, right? Again, we are not using CIDR IPv6, so trim that off. And it is going to be AWS security group dot main dot SGID. Okay, because I want to attach this rule to them, right? Security ID. But I don't want this to be attached to everything. So if I want a rule to be attached only when security group runs, only for the front end security group, how can I handle it? Anyone, 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 anyone. I want this only to be applied to front end, not for others. For others, it should be handled. Anyone?
Can we add tag?
We can add tag, but still it is going to be applied for all three, right? Because we are using an iteration. Can I give a hint? Okay, I'll say count. Okay, the value of count should be 1 when running for front end. For others, value should be 0. Can I control this? Anyone? Can we do it? Yes, we can do it using if else condition. So we remember var dot, okay, var dot name is equal to Manoj, then true. If not false, can we use this condition if else condition? Okay, so maybe what we can do is the value of count, I would like to keep it 0 for other components, and for front end it should be this one. Okay, var dot name, if it is equal to front end, okay, if the component name is equal to front end, then the count is 1. For rest of them, it is going to be 0. Okay, so but okay, so this way this will be applied only for that guy. For rest of them, it is going to be left. Okay, this is this is the simplest thing that we can do. Okay, so first I'll go and try to remove this rule, because the rule that we have taken is nothing should go through manual approach. Okay, again, it should always be problem statement should be clear first. Okay, so first let's try to push the code. Okay, this is the simplest thing, by the way.
Manoj, can you check the port number?
Why? What happened? Oh, okay, 9113. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. You saved one run. If not, it's cost a lot of time for us. Thank you very much for that. Let's run it and see how that works. Next is exporter. Okay, let it run. Okay, there is no wonder it won't work. Okay, it should. The next thing is exporter configuration. So for the Prometheus, okay, as you are using the node exporter, you have supplied the inside the Prometheus YAML, you have supplied the node exporter related configuration, right, in the scrape config. Similarly, you also need to create one more job, and the job is for the Prometheus. The job is for the job is for the job is for. So let's try to expense, not expense project, expense project, node exporter. So one more configuration, and this time this is going to be okay, job name done. And this time the name of the job is going to be Nginx exporter for all the nodes. Okay, for all the nodes that has tag as monitor. No, rather than tag, I can say name. What are the tags that we are using? Name is equal to front end. Okay, maybe what we can also do is, but it should be applicable for everything, right? Maybe I can say, so component this is equal to front end. Okay, right now the values are front end hyphen dev. But if I say front end hyphen dev, so what I want to do is I would like to label it. Okay. Okay, maybe I can also do one thing. Name. Okay. So for any sort of front-end instances, this should be applicable. In our case, we only have front-end hyphen dev, right? So it will be applicable, and it is going to be 9113. Nginx exporter, service discovery, and it is going to happen on the top of this particular machine. Okay. But I don't think EC2 tag name is equal to instance name. Okay, perfect. That's it. Now we have the second job as well. Okay. CDT tools, automation. Now SSH to Prometheus fast. Where the Prometheus configuration resides. Copying the config file, OPT Prometheus. Yeah, let's see that. All right, yeah, that's it. Okay, now let's run this. Oh, expense create job is completed. Oh, perfect. Now you should be able to say, but what are the changes it made? No. For the front end, it should add a rule. That's the only thing it should do. Yeah. Can you see this? It is adding a rule for the security group. For rest of them, it's not. So let's go and check whether it has added or not. Okay. Only for the front end, 9113 should be opened for this guy, Prometheus, not for others. 9113. Okay, maybe we can also add some description. Okay, 9113 is open. But for if you go for others, back and dev, the security, it has not opened. Perfect. This is exactly what I want. Okay. Maybe to make it more better, we can also add description to the security group. But at this point of time, let's proceed. Okay. I'll add it later. Tools, it's auto trigger. Perfect. Okay, let it run. In the meanwhile, I can also add some TF module Terraform. Maybe I can also add some description. Do you have a description for it? Okay, say description is equal to this. Yes, it's there. What I can call is Nginx exporter. Tools, Prometheus CM. Is it completed? Yes. Now go here and try to see the same. You should see this one as well. Okay, perfect. Now it's completed. Now if you go and try to see the Prometheus, you should see Nginx metrics as well. Just see up. That shows you the uptime of all the instances. Okay, can you see this? So for MySQL front end also it is offering. Okay, this is really good. 9113, right? Only for the front end it is offering. Okay. Uh, Nginx exporter. Okay, again, these three will be gone because I have renamed it, right? Because I have renamed the, if you look at, okay, I have updated the name here. That's the reason it's showing these three values. But technically these three, those will be gone. But if you look at this, I also getting the information from this. But are there any Nginx metrics? Perfect. Nginx, Nginx. What other metrics is it offering? Okay, Nginx up, which is nothing but Nginx status. But why it is not showing any of the other metrics? Okay, perfect. I'm getting all the Nginx related metrics. Okay, cool. This is what I want. Okay. A lot of metrics are coming up. Okay, number of connections accepted, number of connections active, number of connections reading. Perfect. This is very good. Cool. Now all the Nginx related metrics are coming up. Okay, so let's try to target on it. Okay, so how many requests are coming up? Nginx. The Nginx HTTP request total. Okay, 17. But I don't think I have accessed this website not even once. Then what are these 17 requests? I have not accessed it Nginx these many times, right? The website is, I have not even accessed a single time since the time it's provisioned. Then what are the metrics? $28, but how come I just accessed once? You can see 48 requests are processed by Nginx. Okay, so keep in mind, I get it. See, your front end as a user, okay, as a user, you access it only once. As a user, you just accessed it only once, right? But Prometheus, for every 15 seconds, it is going and checking. So that is the reason it is saying. But these are not the real requests. So for at this point of time, you can call it as a real request, total request, but these are Prometheus requests. But if you want to know the total request from the web that you have handled, that is a different thing. So first, let's target this, okay? Nginx request. And before that, are we getting any information? I think it is useless. Okay, this is not popping up. Nginx dashboard. The data source of it is it already has the data source. Yeah, it is useless. It's not working for us. Let it be. So we'll go with our own. As I told you, everything comes up at stake. So yeah, that's fine. So I'll just create a visualization. Run. System. Instance name. Okay, front end. Total recs. Okay, it's total requests, not processed, by the way. Okay, not the real request from web. This is just a normal request. So I don't want to go through the graph. Instead, I want to go with a gaze. Okay, so this is a value that keeps on grow. It's a gaze. And if you're thinking why two front ends came up, because I just changed the exporter name. So it takes some time and they will be gone away. Okay, very soon. But you need to bear with me. They will be gone. All right. Okay, what's next? So we have the total requests handled. Maybe I can just put it at the bottom. Okay, so we need to figure out how to address this. Okay. My expectation thinking that Nginx dashboard giving out of the box was not true. Total request on front end is 35. But this is not what I'm asking. But we need few more things. Okay. We are interested about this. Okay. Web requests. Okay. This is also something we need to target. Okay. Well, again, these three information you can get it only from the logs. Okay. We'll see how to get it. Okay. We'll start with error code, traffic from web, okay, latency, okay, and this all involves tuning the logs from Nginx. Okay, right now if you SSH to Nginx, not Nginx front end, so the logs of Nginx are cd var log Nginx tail hyphen f access log. These are the logs of Nginx. So we are getting the logs in this way, right? So from here, it tells you what is the status code of it, and what is this, and what is this, and who defines this log is something we'll see tomorrow. Okay, we'll restructure our logs. Okay, we will start with the logs and we'll add the parameters of our choice. Okay, you can redefine the logs. Okay, how logs are coming up. I don't want this much lengthy logs. I don't want this much users information. I'll retune it. Okay, this is what in organizations you'll do it. If logs are not offering as intended, you'll change it. All right, that's it from my end. Okay, so yeah, we haven't wasted any time, by the way. We're getting a lot of good metrics. We'll see rest of the things tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow it's going to be very interesting. We'll see them in tomorrow's session. Okay. All right. Any questions? Connections handled. Okay. These are the real requests. Ah, let's add. Let's wait for 50 seconds. This three will be increased. Yeah, can you perfect? Okay. So Nginx connections handled. Okay. Nginx connection handled. Requests that are processed. Okay. Not just reaching front end. Okay. So when you say total Nginx requests, total requests, whether okay, this means uh, connections handles is like the moment I come here, okay, it's just not like if I come here and I refresh, it is like accessing. No, this is this comes under total request. But what the moment this all the details are front end. The moment you add some details, it goes to the back end, right? That means your request is processed. The requests that are sent from front end to the back end are referred as a processed request. Okay, this is another thing I'm interested about. Okay, total traffic. Okay, we'll see these things from tomorrow. Okay, these are the actual requests. So this is what I'm interested about. Okay, let's add this as well to the visualization. Total web requests. Total web requests. Total. Okay, these are processed, by the way. Perfect. Okay, this is the actual count. Okay, these are the requests that are processed by your Prometheus. All right, perfect. We'll see rest of the things in tomorrow's session. Any questions, anyone? Any
Sir,
questions?
actually, I have one question.
Yeah, please tell me.
So when you have the refresh the the URL, so that request comes to the increase like the two. So I think so we can increase the one time, right, sir?
Can you
No,
rephrase your question?
in the Prometheus in the Grafana side or
No, no. What are you talking about? Which metric are you talking about? I'm not clear.
total web request.
Okay. Total web requests.
It will comes to like once we have refreshed the application. So it will be increased too, right? Yeah, if you add the one
See, if you
request.
add, that means the request
Uh,
is sent from front end to back end, which is called as a processed. Processed requests are referred as nothing but handled. Okay, these are the actual requests that are reaching back end or front end, or the requests that are real requests. But
so
Prometheus is
when
just
we are
going, Prometheus is just going and talking. There is also considered as a request that are HTTP requests. But I'm not interested about HTTP requests. I'm interested about the requests that are coming from the web, which are handled. Like I want transactions, who did a payment, like that.
okay,
Make sense?
okay,
See, I don't
yeah,
care about how many people are accessing my website or how many are adding items, but I'm interested about how many people are doing payment and what is the payment transaction time. Does it make sense?
yeah, yes, sir. But I have question is like when you are in the Prometheus side or Grafana side, we can handle something, right, sir? So it will comes to in before it will come 28.
See, why do you even need to do that if the matrix is itself is offered? I get it, but it's already offering, right? Why do we need to reinvent the wheel?
Oh,
Make sense?
yes, yes, yes.
I get it. Why can't we conditionalize it? Can we do something to conditionalize it? But you don't have to because it's already offered, right? Agree?
Yeah,
If tail is giving you, why you even need to look at something else? It's solving my problem. Agree?
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Practice them, guys. It's going to be very interesting. Trust me. Observability is a very crux of everything. Okay. So yeah, practice. Next sessions are going to be very interesting. Please come with a practice. Okay, I'll help you to the core. That's it. Thank you. I don't think any questions are there. And that's for today, guys. Thank you. Signing off.